Hello, hello. Welcome to Sleuth Slut. I'm Brenda, your Sleuth Slut extraordinaire. I read crime fiction widely and give you my feminist perspective on what I've read. This week, I read The Tenant by Katrine Engberg. It's a translation from the Danish, published last year. The story revolves around the tenant of the title, who happens to be our victim. Now, she's a young, beautiful, troubled white girl, and she's dead. So nothing that's gonna blow you away there in terms of premise. And we've also got the owner of the building, who I think is the most interesting character. She's a retired academic who's writing a murder mystery. So we have a bit of a book within a book trope here, which I think does work in this case. In terms of female characters, I found there was a bit of troubling discourse, especially around the victim and her sexual history. I don't know anything about Danish law. I just sort of assume that Scandinavia is very similar to Canada, where I am. But in this case, there was an important difference around statutory rape, whereas in this book, it's sort of seen as perhaps a little troubling, but nothing that's sending off red flags, which I found was a little weird. Now, again, I don't know too much about Danish society. I'm guessing that this mostly white cast is representative. Probably a realistic portrayal, but that's just a guess. You might think that this falls under the Nordic noir heading. Maybe it does, I'm not sure. I haven't read too much in that genre, but what I've read has been super bleak and very graphic, and which is why I haven't read a lot of it, because I'm a sensitive reader. This book takes place in summer, first of all, so you don't get that dark winter vibe. And there are some graphic details in terms of what happened to the victim. So it's sort of like a middle ground, I would say. The other thing to keep in mind is that the main detective, he's got a bit of that like freshly divorced, kind of depressed, down on himself vibe that a lot of detective fiction seems to go for. But he's not like an alcoholic, and he's not breaking all the rules, so he's not a total stereotype. That said, I didn't think he was a particularly interesting character. So as you can see, I have some mixed feelings about this book. The plot was a bit frustrating because it's one of those books where you just want to scream at the detectives, like, check out that lead, you know, look more into that guy. Like, there are some really obvious red flags that sort of go unnoticed until it's almost too late. The pace is fairly steady, and then at the end you get that rush of like everything's coming together really fast. I think it's pretty run-of-the-mill in that sense. The story was good. There were some disturbing kind of off elements in terms of how women are talked about, especially sexually. So just like a few warnings on this. I'm gonna give this a 3 stars. So I liked it, but I'm not going to rush out and read the other ones in the series. Have you read The Tenant? Please tell me what you thought below. And if you're a fan of Nordic noir, I would love some more recommendations for books that aren't too bleak. Also, like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you every second Wednesday for more Sleuth Slut. Merci beaucoup.